Hey guys, what's going on? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode number 51. And we are here. The AAA squad is back with you guys to just talk some baseball, and we're gonna do something a little fun and unique and keep it a little more casual this time around. With me tonight, on this Friday the 13th is Jason Ashby. Jason, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm not gonna be a serial killer tonight. I am ready to talk baseball with you on this Friday the 13th. Yeah, I'm excited to do this. I love talking baseball, so let's get it started.
All right, cool. So Jason and I talked about uh, kind of breaking down the NFBC average draft position analysis a bit here. And those of you who don't know, the NFBC is the National Fantasy Baseball Championship, and it's like basically a bunch of experts that do fantasy baseball drafts. And believe it or not, even though we're in January 13th right now, like there have been a ton of fantasy baseball drafts. And the ADP, I guess, is the aggregate of all of their drafts combined. And they've created kind of this master list of, the rankings of, players that, you know, we're going to be targeting in the bigs and players that maybe we didn't really think about until we went through this list. And what we're going to do is, since this show is catered to our friends and compadres in the bigs, we will break it down round by round based on a 16 team league. So we'll take 1 through 16, the average draft of the ADP rankings, and then Jason and I will talk about kind of like, who's a surprise in this first round, and who's a reach and who's a steal, and kind of just go from there. So you ready to dive into this?
Let's do it, dude.
All right. All right, so first round, hopefully there's no surprises here. But let's go through this. Average draft position, we're gonna go start from the top is Trey Turner. We'll go, I'll just kind of read through them and then we can analyze. So Trey Turner, Acuna at 2, Jose Ramirez 3, Julio Rodriguez 4, Aaron Judge 5, Kyle Tucker 6, Bobby Witt Jr. at 7, Shohei Ohtani, the hitter, 8, Juan Soto 9, Mookie Betts 10, Vlad 11, Yordan Alvarez 12, Bo Bichette 13, Freddie Freeman 14, Machado 15, and Corbin Burns 16, rounding out the first round. So just kind of off the top, Jason, any major shocks here? I mean, this is the first round, so this is the best of the
Yeah,
best.
yeah, for sure. And obviously these are, some big names. What stands out to me is Bobby Witt Jr. I know he had a really good rookie season. I don't know that is he are we ready to draft him in the first round? Like, I know he's got tremendous upside. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to commit to that kind of commitment yet, for him.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with you on this. Like, what's also awesome about the NFBC, like this list here that they've created, is they show you like the earliest that he goes and then the absolute latest. So as of right now, like he's in some cases being drafted third overall. That's the highest he's going in the draft is third, and then he's falling all the way to 20th in some drafts. So like just that range itself, I feel like is kind of eye-opening. Um,
Yeah, there's tremendous upside there, but like, I'm pretty sure I would take somebody a little bit more established, like a Machado. I mean, where's Mike Trout in this round? Mike Trout's not going in the first round. Is he not a first rounder? I don't know. Um, so that really stood out to me. And then also that like Ronald Acuna is way up there. Coming off of that knee injury, he's higher than Julio, higher than Judge. That's a little surprising to me too. I feel he's still a first rounder in my opinion, but I don't know if he's top three.
okay. I I don't know. I may have to disagree with you on this one. I think everyone, when he came back from his surgery, was expecting him to not steal bases because he was going to kind of go easy on his legs and still hit for power. And like, he just came back and stole 30 bases, you know? I mean, I think, and he didn't have a full season. And I feel like the sky is the limit for this guy who could go 30-30, who could go 40-40 in a stacked
But
lineup.
but like, okay, so you have the third overall pick in the biggest draft this year. Trey Turner goes off the board. Jose Ramirez goes off the board. Are you taking Acuna or are you taking Judge? Or are you taking Julio? See?
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, I would consider all three of them, but I don't know.
Sure.
I know I'm not taking Tucker, and I think that the drop off between those top five and then everyone else, you can kind of argue that that's sort of like if you're going Aaron Judge 5, Kyle Tucker 6, like that's a major discrepancy there.
That's a big drop. That's a big drop. I agree. Yeah.
Um,
I might even take Jordan before I take Kyle Tucker.
I may take Juan Soto before I take Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
Sure, he had a down year, but I trust Juan Soto more than Kyle Tucker to lead my team? Absolutely.
I think so. I think Juan Soto just does everything so well. And he's got that stacked lineup all around him.
But dude,
I,
like
I,
if Juan Soto is there at 9 and I'm celebrating. Celebrating.
he could still be a top five. He could still be a top five.
Yeah. Yeah, and the fact I feel like last year he was going 1 or 2. He was going
He
1, 2,
was.
or 3, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it's a steal to get him at 9. Let's take a look at kind of the back end of this first round here. Ohtani, we know, is limited with his utility status. If he had an outfield position or something to that nature, I think he'd be higher up in this round.
Absolutely.
We've got 2 first basemen here, Vlad and Freddie Freeman, who I don't think it gets more consistent than that. I'm not sure I would put Vlad before Freeman. At this point, I don't know.
It's tough. It's tough. It's hard because like you don't know what the rest of your team is going to be like, right? Because like
Yeah.
if you're trying to build power, you're going to go with Vlad. But if you want more on base batting average skills, you're going to go with Freeman. But you don't know what the rest of your team looks like. If you can
Yeah.
make up that loss of power later on in the draft, then you go ahead and take Freeman. You know,
Yeah.
that's a tough split.
Yeah. Bo Bichette, who is 13 now, who I think kind of fell a bit. He was also going top 5 last year. And
Yeah, he had a, you know, not a. I wouldn't say he had a bad. He didn't have a down year. It just wasn't what everybody was kind of hoping for. I think.
right. Um, the last thing I want to point out with this first round, as we round out with Freeman 14, Machado 15, and Burns 16, is the lack of starting pitching that we're seeing.
Yeah.
I don't think, Jason, in our history in the bigs, we've had any first round ever where a pitcher hasn't been selected.
That would be a really cool thing to like to fact check. But like, I mean, just looking back at last year, we had, let's see, 1, 2, 3 starters and a closer taken in the first round.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
wild.
one of them was me with Walker Bueller, and that sucked. But and then it was Garrett Cole, Corbin Burns, and then Josh Hader. But like, yeah, I don't know that we would ever not have a starting pitcher go in the first round.
Yeah. No, I don't. And obviously, I do want to make this clear. This is obviously like, not catered to our specific stats and our specific.
Sure.
So that, there's something to be said there for that. And I'm sure that our managers are so unique in how they draft. Like, it wouldn't shock me if 5 starting pitchers went in this first round. Like it's hard to predict.
I mean, we could even see a closer go in the first round. I mean, we've seen it before. Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. All right, so let's dive into this. Oh, you know what? Let's do the reaches and steals. You want to do that kind of at the end of every round?
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
okay.
So who's your biggest steal in this first round? Meaning that the player has kind of dropped significantly and you'd be thrilled to get them where they are right now.
We talked about it. I think it has to be Juan Soto at 9.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to get him at 9th overall, like when you have that 9th overall pick, you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna get like the next tier of superstars, and Juan Soto is still that top tier of superstars in my opinion. So if I'm
Absolutely.
getting him at the 9th pick, yeah, I'm doing a happy dance.
Yeah. Agreed. Completely. Who's your biggest reach in this draft? Like you would never draft this player at this value. Is it Bobby Witt?
I think it has to be Bobby Witt. I mean,
Yep.
Kyle Tucker maybe too, but Bobby Witt just I mean, I need to see at least another year of him before I commit to 7th overall to a first round pick for Bobby Witt.
So let me ask you though, because the sample size is pretty much exactly the same. Would you take Julio Rodriguez at 4th overall?
That's tough. That's a good call. That's a good point. Um, I feel like he's a different breed. I mean, Bobby Witt hit 254 with 20 home runs. I mean, the 30 stolen bases is great, but I feel like this is like if Cedric Mullins played shortstop, you know,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
that's what Bobby Witt is to me right now. Julio Rodriguez is you know, other than Mike Trout, the best center fielder in baseball. So yeah, I could see myself taking Julio 4th overall. I could not see myself taking Bobby Witt in the first
Interesting.
round at all. Yeah,
Okay. All right. Interesting. All right, so let's move on to round 2 here. We've got our first closer. So first pick of round 2 at pick 17 overall is Edwin Diaz. Then we got Garrett Cole. We've got Emmanuel Clase, so our second closer going inside the top 20, which is cool.
yeah,
Rafael Devers at 20, Pete Alonso 21, Fernando Tatis Jr., which I can't wait to talk about him at 22. Austin Riley, 23. Mike Trout, finally, 24. Our first catcher in JT Realmuto at 25. Sandy Alcantara, 26. Josh Hader, 27. Michael Harris, the second, 28. Paul Goldschmidt, 29. Liam Hendricks, who is no longer going to be an option, unfortunately, for us. I'm sure we can potentially draft him, but I'm not sure he'll be playing baseball this year. So he's right now at 30, but I'm assuming that's going to continue to drop. Spencer Strider at 31, and then finally Dylan Cease to close out the second round at 32. This is definitely a more interesting round than the first round. I could probably pinpoint like 3 or 4 guys that I don't think I would take this early. But what are your kind of overall thoughts on round 2 here?
this is a very volatile round.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of ways that this could go. Um, I mean, 2 closers going almost back to back. Like you said, our first catcher, like I don't know, like in the history, I feel like historically the big catchers fall, and I know that but also it's a very shallow position this year. If you don't get one of the top ones, are you even drafting a catcher? So yeah, this is a very very interesting grouping here.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what's also bizarre is that we saw 1 starting pitcher in the first round. There's only 4 starting pitchers in the second round. So in 2 rounds, a total of 5 starting pitchers. Like that's strange to me.
Yeah, and I don't think that's how it's gonna go
No.
in 3 months from now or so. I
Yeah.
think it's gonna be you're gonna see a lot more pitchers going off the board early.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems that sort of overall round two is about corner infielders. And part of my thought process on that is that after you get past a certain point of corner infielders, like the drop off is so significant that I think that they are being sort of front loaded here into these first couple rounds. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a great call. Because yeah, like once you get past this round, you're kind of like, yeah, obviously not scraping the bottom of the barrel yet, but you're going, okay, I'm gonna probably focus somewhere else and just get a lesser corner infielder later and wait, you know,
Yeah.
wait for
Yeah.
wait for the Ty Francis or something like that. You can get kind of more in the middle round and focus more on a pitcher or something like that in the second round here.
Right. Right. Um, so some interesting cases specifically in this round. First of all, Fernando Tatis Jr., who, as we know, is missing the first month or so of the season. Um, Coming back into a stacked lineup, supposedly healthy. I can imagine his ADP will probably rise a bit if we see him play in spring training and see that he's kind of like his old self. Um, would you gamble on Tatis here at around 22, which is like, the middle of the second round?
Yeah, man, it's tough because he's gonna play the outfield, so he's gonna have you know decent eligibility. But man, I was down on him in 2021. Like I was down on him going into 2022 before he got popped with the suspension. Like
Mm,
coming off of that surge off of that injury, and I don't know because he didn't play all last year. I don't know what his recovery is like. I don't know if he's the same hitter. One throw from right field, and does that shoulder go pop and he's hurt again?
yeah,
Also, how much did the steroids enhance him?
yeah, yeah,
So there's a lot of variables there. I undoubtedly the talent is there if he's healthy and he is Tatis. Pick 22 is a steal.
yeah,
I'm probably avoiding him.
yeah. It's the most insane high risk, high reward pick that I can think of in these first 32 picks.
He is what I feel like kind of like what Justin Verlander was last year,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like there was that high risk, high reward because you don't know what a 40-year-old coming back from Tommy John surgery is going to be like,
yeah.
and he went off and just won the Cy Young award.
Yep.
I feel like it could be the same thing for Tatis. He can come
Yeah.
in and win the MVP this year, or he could just hit 260 and hit 20 bombs and okay, that's nice, but I don't know. There's just too much volatility there for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. And I'm curious though, and I'm so intrigued by putting him in that lineup with Soto, and he's never been there with Soto, and what that'll do for both of them and Machado. And it's like that lineup is terrifying. Um, so I don't know, maybe Soto actually brings out a better side of Tatis if possible. I'm not sure. But this is we're talking about sort of the wide gap between, the earliest pick and the latest pick. So Tatis, his earliest pick right now, he's going 12th overall. And then his latest is he's going 55th overall, which
Yeah, see, like down there, yeah, down there, I probably would consider him,
yeah,
but second round, there's too much. There's too many other proven, less question mark guys in the second round that I would feel more comfortable committing to than a question mark of Tatis.
yeah, agreed. Agreed. Mike Trout, it's another one. 24th overall, which it has to be a career low for him in fantasy baseball drafts. Um,
Yeah, I
what are your
I
thoughts?
can't not see him going in the first round. I mean, yes, the injuries have been an issue, but he played 119 games last year and still hit 40 home runs. Like
Yeah. Yep.
he's still Mike Trout, and if they can find a way to keep him on the field, I mean, 24th overall. That's like getting Juan Soto ninth overall. That's
Yeah.
you are sitting pretty if you get Mike Trout that deep into the draft.
Yeah, and the way we're looking at it too is that you can actually get both. You can get
Yeah,
Soto, and then on the turn you can get Mike Trout.
like that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. There's no way that both of those guys are gonna fall that far, but like the way that these experts are drafting it now, like that's what it's looking like. Um, I
Here's my question to you.
yeah.
So right now, the looking at starting pitching, Corbin Burns rounded out the first round.
Mhm.
Then you have Garrett Cole, and then Sandy Alcantara. Is that the right order?
Um, I mean, obviously, like Burns and Cole are gonna have a higher win percentage opportunity than Alcantara, but like I don't I don't know if it's based on raw stuff and like who I think has the best upside right now. I don't know. Maybe Alcantara's first overall as a pitcher.
Yeah, I
I,
mean, because I feel like if you can afford to lack the wins that Alcantara is not going to have,
yeah,
you can if you can pick up Urias somewhere else or Max Scherzer, a pitcher lesser lower down in the draft order who's on a winning team, maybe you go for the guy who's going to throw 200 innings and is just going to dominate everything except for wins.
yeah, yeah. No, it's definitely something to consider, and the fact that Alcantara is 26, and then you've got Spencer Strider and Dylan Cease rounding out the second round at 31 and 32 respectively. Like, I don't know about you, but like I Sandy Alcantara is worlds better to me for me right now than Spencer Strider or Dylan Cease. I mean, we could be saying something different in a year from now,
Sure.
but because Spencer Strider is an electric pitcher, but like, would I take Strider or Dylan Cease in round two? I don't think so.
Yeah, Spencer Strider is too unproven. Like, okay, you had a fantastic rookie year. Do it again,
Yeah.
and then I'll take you in the second round. And Dylan Cease, I just feel like that. I don't know enough about him. I don't feel like he's been consistent enough to like, really warrant. Granted, it's the back end of the second round, but I, the White Sox aren't going to be all that good. I don't think. Um, I mean, we'll see the pitchers coming after him, but I think there are better pitchers after him in this list.
Yeah, I agree. And he had a tremendous season last year. Like, let's call it what it is. Dylan Cease was incredible last year, but um pitchers are so hard to predict for me because like you could say the same thing about Lucas Giolito like from a year ago or 2 years ago. Like, he is tremendous. This guy is the next up and comer, and then 2022 happens and this guy falls off the face of the planet. So
Yeah.
like, is it a coincidence that they're both on the White Sox? I don't know, but like I don't know that I would trust Dylan Cease this high when
Yeah.
you said it yourself. Like, we're about to get to round three where there are at least five pitchers I would probably take over Dylan.
Yeah.
So,
It's
uh,
and before we move on, I just again also same question with the relievers because there was
yeah,
not counting Liam Hendricks, there was what, three closers in this list. So you had Edwin
yes.
Diaz, Emmanuel Clase, and Josh Hader. Um, three closers in the same round. Do you think we would see that in the bigs?
I think we
It, this early?
absolutely, I think we absolutely could see that in the bigs. Given the lack of, you know, job security in this role as the years have gone on. And we have been texting nonstop about this or about like, statistics like over the off season, but we were texting this week about Edwin Diaz and his like ridiculous strikeout percentage last year and how he struck out over 50% of the batters he faced, which is like unheard of.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
So to get like 100, 120 strikeouts from your closer who has all the job security in the world, who is going to be on a powerhouse Mets team. Like, I don't know. I can't deny that he should exist somewhere in this round, and he's
Yes,
definitely
I
going to
agree.
go in our league in this,
Yeah.
either in this round or in the first round.
Do you think Josh Hader? Do you think people are scared of Josh Hader
After
from
its
what
like
happened last?
mini implosion last year.
Yeah, which lasted all of really just like a couple, like a month or so, but it was enough to. I mean, his ERA at the end of the year was over 5.
Yeah.
Like, but he's still Josh Hader, right? So
And he was
his
closing
second
games
round,
for them in the playoffs, wasn't he?
yes, and he was dynamite in the
He was
playoffs.
dynamite. Um,
So
I think it was a blip on his radar. I think he is still Josh Hader. I reaped the benefits last year picking up Nick Martinez and picking up like 7 saves in September from him. But yeah, no, I think Josh Hader's still the real deal, and he's on a team that's even better this year, and he's gonna have ample save opportunities. So like
agreed,
I,
agreed.
and Clase is as reliable as they come also.
Yeah,
Like, I
yeah.
have no qualms with any of these closers being in the third round.